Hey there, Mr. Witherow here. All right, solving quadratics, take 2. All right, first thing, we're always looking for a GCF. You should always look for a greatest common factor. If you've got a greatest common factor, then factor it out. You also sometimes will do our slip and slide way to do it, right? So when there's a number attached to the x squared term, right, the coefficient, the x squared term has a coefficient that we can't get rid of via GCF, then we have to do this slip and slide. So I wanted to make a little quick video showing you that, and then that way then you can have a little bit of knowledge on how to do that. All right, so if we have 2x squared minus 8x minus 24 is equal to 0, right? So same thing, we're always looking for GCF, always looking for a greatest common factor. 2, 8, and 24, we can factor out of 2, right? So if I'm factoring out of 22, some of you will need to think that we're dividing by 2 is really what we're doing. So then we're left with x squared minus the 4x minus the 12 is equal to 0. All right, so now, again, we always have to think about, can we factor this? Are there 2 factors out there that give me negative 12 that add up to negative 4? Sure there is. There's x minus 6 and x plus 2 is equal to 0. Because negative 6 times 2 is negative 12 and negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. All right, so now we have to set, now we've got it down to our factors, so we have to set everything equal to 0. So we say 2 is equal to 0, x minus 6 is equal to 0, and x plus 2 is equal to 0. Well, 2 is equal to 0 doesn't happen, so we just throw that out. This one, if we add 6 to both sides, we're going to get x equals 6. If we subtract 2 from both sides, we're going to get x equals negative 2. So our answer is 6 and negative 2. All right? So that's one way we can do that, is always looking for a greatest common factor. Sometimes after we take the greatest common factor out, we just have basically a regular quadratic. Then we just factor it. We don't have to do the slip and slide. All right? So, but what happens if we have to do the slip and slide? Right? That's what that's the question that we have to look at. So I wanted just to do that again for you, making sure that we understand how to do that, keeping it fresh in our head of what we're looking for here. All right, so if we had something like 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 is equal to 0, right? Okay, so we look for a greatest common factor, 3, 7, and 6. There isn't a greatest common factor, so now we have to do our slip and slide. So remember that step 1 is to slip this over and multiply, all right? I've seen some people out there like cross this out and then put 18 up here. That's one way to do it. That way you don't have to rewrite it. Some of us just need to rewrite it, all right? So 18 comes from 3 times 6 equals 0. Factors of negative 18 that give me negative 7 are negative 9 and positive 2. Right? Then remember that this is our A, right? So our A is 3. And so then means we have to divide by 3 here, or reduce, divide. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then 2 over 3 cannot be reduced, so we take and we slide that up. Slip, slide. So this becomes 3x plus 2 equals 0. All right, so real quick, what we want to do is make sure that this is correct. So x times 3x gives me 3x squared, and negative 3 times 2 is a negative 6. If those work, then I'm pretty confident with the negative 7x in the middle. All right, so then we take these two and we set them equal to 0, right? So now we're going to actually get a fraction as our answer, because this is going to give fraction. So we're going to add 3. We're going to get x equals 3. And this one, we're going to subtract 2, and we're going to get 3x equals negative 2, divide by 3, and we're going to get x is equal to negative 2/3. All right? Ooh. All right? So sometimes you're going to have to do a greatest common factor, And sometimes you're gonna have to just do the slip and slide. So make sure that you get that down, all right? All right, keep having fun with math.